Four Nations face off, 2 games on Saturday. Andrew and Carmine here on a different version of PuckTime on WagerTalk TV to break down 2 games, give you guys 2 picks from each game, and also some great promotional stuff as we have all kinds of great promos going on right now at WagerTalk.com. Carm, we have had a handful of games so far to be excited about, or I guess only 2 games to be excited about, I should say. But 2 different style of games, that's for sure. Canada-Sweden goes to overtime. And then after a very, very close first and parts of the second period, we just saw USA run away with it against Team Finland. Your thoughts overall on this tournament so far?
It's been entertaining. It's definitely, I think, some people were expecting offensive outbreaks, and yeah, both games have gone over the total, but with a lot of help along the way. Canada blowing obviously a 3-1 lead. That game goes 4-4 into or 3-3 into OT. And USA, 3 quick ones, which sort of salted that game away. Finland played some very good hockey for a couple periods, and then just I don't know what happened to them. They fell apart in the third period. It's not normally what a Finland team does, but it's been good thus far. Majority of the penalties we talked about before. You don't want to put any of these teams on the power play, but high sticking seems to be the biggest thing. We almost saw a fight, Andrew. That was pretty good. Almost saw a fight in USA and Finland. USA love to get under the skin of opposing players, and I think we're going to see that in that Canada-US game that we're going to talk about shortly, but I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about Prez and just Prez himself, but shout out to everybody that didn't think this tournament would be taken seriously by the players. And I think mostly for Prez, he just didn't want the tournament to be in the middle of the NHL regular season, which I do understand. But there were so many people out there, whether it was just on Hockey X, Gambling X, or just the hockey world, where people were saying, are these guys going to block shots? Are these guys going to take this serious? I think it really goes to show that when you put your country's jersey on, the logo for your country, things change. Nobody wants to be someone that let down their country. Nobody wants to be someone that wasn't willing to block a shot, wasn't willing to, make that extra effort. So we're definitely seeing a huge level of commitment from both teams, and just so much talent out there. Drew Doughty was quoted saying, "This is the fastest paced hockey game I've ever played in my life." And he's a Stanley Cup champion. Matthew Tkachuk said that he thinks that it's going to be 7 game sevens. All games are going to have to feel like a game 7 of the Stanley Cup playoffs. So without further ado, of course, we have each team playing each team, every team once, 3 games for each team. So on Saturday, Finland and Sweden play, USA and Canada play. And let's be real here. Those are probably the 2 rivalries. Canada wants to play USA. USA wants to play Canada. And same thing goes for Sweden and Finland. So let's start things off, Carm, with our Sweden and Finland game, and get one pick out of you that you like on that game.
Yeah, well, I like a couple plays, but I definitely like the under in this game, Andrew. Like I said, Finland played a very good game against USA for 40 minutes. Saros looked good in goal for them until the team sort of fell apart in that third period. I think the coach even said it. He goes, "I don't know what happened to us in the final 20 minutes. We played our game, which was a defensive game, minimized the chances. And if you watch both games, there's not a ton of shots on goal. You would think for all 4 nations with the stars that they have on the team, you would believe that these shot counts would be, in the 30s for these teams. But no, that's not happening. At one point in the Canada game, it was like 7-1 with a minute and a half left in the first period. You looked at this yesterday's USA and Finland game. At one point, I think the shots on goal were something like 17-13 in the third period. So you're not getting a lot of shots on goal. This is one of those ones where Finland they've got to be better. This is their make or break game for them after losing 6-1 to the USA. They're not going to get in on goal differential, so they're going to get in by winning games. I think they play Sweden tough, and Sweden got better against the USA as that game went on. You got to give the Swedes a lot of credit, and I think they can still be dangerous in this tournament and still make it to the finals. They've got to get by Finland here. They've already picked up a point. Get by Finland in regulation. That gives them 4, Andrew, and then they play the USA to for a spot in the finals. I have to believe. I'm going under here. I think this game means a lot to both teams. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
I love it. Hard to argue that game won't see a ton of defense. I'm going to piggyback right up on the exact same picks that you made there, except for just tweak it a tiny bit. And I'm going to go first period under 1.5 goals here. Sweden and Finland. As you mentioned, this game will mean so much to both of these teams, and especially Finland, how great defensively they played in that first period against Team USA. And as the game went on, it just started to collapse for them. You know, it was almost like they had that trap set up. They were sitting back, protecting their own end. They weren't really pressuring much. You know, certain teams that lack the depth, because they have a good top 6, but teams that lack that depth, they have to know their best way of winning is going to be by winning a low-scoring game. Now, I was lucky enough to hit a 4% play on the Sweden-Canada first period over and a 5% play on the Finland-USA first period over. And I said that I thought that each team, their first games, we might see the first period go over, but that could change with their second games with how important the defense will be. So I think that we'll see a 0-0 or 1-0 start to this one after the opening frame. Look for the first period under 1.5 goals. What else do you think for this game, Carm? As you looked at one team in particular to go under, a side, total, prop, anything you're looking at as well in this game?
Yeah, from a prop point of view, and again, it comes back to the goals. Andrew is, I really like what Sweden did in the whole game against Canada. I get it. McDavid, McKinnon. There's so many stars on that Canadian team. A lot of speed. McKinnon and and McDavid. I'd love to see these guys in a skate off, but these guys are so quick. But Sweden did a lot, sort of minimizing, keeping to the outside for the most part, and they got better as the game went on. Obviously, unlucky to lose it in OT. It's where I love the format of the OT, 3-on-3 for 10 minutes. We get to see some great hockey. Um, with the stars on the ice, but I just don't see goals from coming from Finland in this one. I think Finland's way of winning this game is going to be winning one of those 2-1 type of games, which is why I like the under in the game. But I think Sweden are a very good defensive team as well too. I'm going Finland under 2.5 team total. I can't see them getting to 3 in this game against Sweden. So Finland team total under 2.5 for me.
Narrowing in on one team, Finland team total under as well. Carm, looks like that we both shouldn't even watch this game. I don't know if either of us even are going to want to watch this game with us liking the unders, but of course you can definitely have an entertaining game even if it's low scoring, and I think both teams are going to play super defensively in this one. Hey, there's going to have to be some goals if there's going to be a winner in this game, of course. And, you know, for me, with prop betting, I like to look, hey, if I missed on a prop one night, I can't go away from it. I got to go back on it because, you know, it'll drive me crazy if the guy that I took for a prop bet misses it the first time I bet him and then gets it right away the second time when I don't. So this guy's playing on the top line with Mikko Rantanen and Alexander Barkov. You know I was a fan of him for the Canadians. He plays for the Colorado Avalanche right now. He was plus 145 against the Americans to get a point. Now he's only plus 120 against the Swedes to get a point. That's Artturi Lehkonen. He flew over his shots on goal prop against the Americans with a ton of chances, ton of shots from him. But I think Lehkonen being on the same line as probably the two other best players on that team, the two best players on that team with Barkov and, of course, with Mikko Rantanen, 2 Stanley Cup winners. I'm not saying Lehkonen scores a goal, but I'm saying he very well could get an assist. He's also out there on the top line. So Artturi Lehkonen, 1+ point at least at plus 120. I do like that one quite a bit. And guys, it's a really good number. So shop around, get the best price you possibly can on Artturi Lehkonen. Hopefully he has another big impact on the game for Team Finland. Okay, guys, 2 great promos going on right now at WagerTalk. We have 30 days. Buy 30 days of all sports for less than $8 a day. All right. Carm is crushing it right now in soccer. We're both betting four nations. We got basketball plays, we got UFC plays. 30 days, less than $8 a day, broken down if you guys want to buy a little bit long term. And of course, it's Valentine's Day. All right. We have some great deals as well for Valentine's Day. Buy 3 days, get 3 free at wagertalk.com. $69. No pun intended there. Am I allowed to say that? I don't know if I am. Carm's page or my page, Valentine's Day special. Buy 3 days, get 3 days at wagertalk.com. All right, Carm, hopefully the PR department isn't coming after me after that one. Let's get one play from you on Team Canada and Team USA.
Happy Valentine's Day to all those watching. Just remember, half price chocolate this weekend after this holiday is over. And that deal, Andrew, the Valentine's Day deal is a good one. Buy a 3-day pass for $69, get 3 additional days. For me, if you're picking it up on Friday, it's going to cover Fridays, obviously Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Champions League hockey with this Four Nations and weekend plays. And I have 5% play loaded up in the Premier League for Saturday morning. So all the better. Don't pay 35 for one play, pay 69 and get 6 days of plays. Andrew, I talk about unders, and I think that this tournament is it's showcasing that these games can stay under with a little bit of help. Both of them have gone over the total, but this is one where Canada and the U.S. I'm liking the under 6.5. I just think this is going to be another defensive battle. The one thing that worries me about taking the total when Canada plays the U.S. is, there's going to be some physicality to this game. That the Tkachuk brothers are going to try and get under Canada's skin and certain players' skin. So it is what the referees call, whether he lets them play, whether he takes 2 of them off the ice at the same time, one for each team in those scrums. We saw the scrum very early on in the Finland game. USA brought it to them and eventually wore them down. I don't want to see either power play on the ice. As much as you like offensive hockey, I want to see a grinded out game between these two and not a power play show where we see a bunch of goals. Under 6.5 for me in this game.
You know what, Carm, I think that when people look at games like this, they think excitement and they think game-packed action. But I think also, like you said, defense is the name of the game. And both teams have a game under their belt. I do expect some defensive play as well. And speaking of defense, I'm going to look for a point from a defenseman. And that's going to be Cale Makar at a really good price here, I think, at minus 120. And, he was like even money or a little bit better than that in the previous game. But against Team USA, he's going to have to be huge. Obviously, the forward group is the group that's responsible for scoring goals and getting a lot of the assists. But people might forget, when the Colorado Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, who won the Conn Smythe Trophy? Who won the playoff MVP? Was it Mikko Rantanen? Was it Nathan MacKinnon? No. The Conn Smythe Trophy went to Cale Makar. He's a big name player. He's got talent. He has offensive capability. He has the skill. And of course, he's out there on the power play units. So to Carm's point, if we do see physicality, if it does lead to power plays, I think Cale Makar is quarterbacking that power play. We'll see him get at least 1 point. Zach Werenski, I believe, had 2 or 3 points for Team USA against Team Finland. I think Cale Makar certainly has to be a part of the offense for Team Canada as well. And that's minus 120. Carm, I have a prop. Don't get me wrong. I will have a prop coming for a Team USA player as well. I got one for each. But what else do you have for us in this game?
In that Canada Sweden game, I did cash on a wager, which was it's available at DK DraftKings, I believe under the game parlay section for the hockey game. But it was Canada win and over 6.5 goals. Now, obviously, Canada blowing that 3-1 lead worked out well for that 3-3 OT. I still needed them to win the game, but cashed a nice plus. I think it was plus 165 ticket. I'm going one step further, Andrew. Listen, while my heart lies with the Canadian team, my money is going to be on the USA team in this Canada-USA game. You and I are going probably mano a mano on this one. But that same prop but a different version of it is available. At DK, you can take in the game parlays, you can take USA win and under 6.5 and get plus 235 on your money. I really like that price. All of them are plus 200 or higher, whether it's USA and the over, USA or the under, Canada and the over, Canada and the under. They're all at least plus 230 or higher. This one's plus 235. Give me the USA and under 6.5 in a parlay plus 235. And I'll call it 3-2 USA in OT. Game winner, Brady to Chuck. Wow, I'm going
Man,
right
I
at,
gotta
I'm
say,
going at you, Andrew. What do you say?
what a price! That's what I say. What a price that is for that combo of the winner and the total. Carm, I don't care who wins tomorrow, as long as there's some way mathematically that I'm going to be able to see Canada USA next Thursday at TD Garden. If I can see those two teams play, I don't care what happens. But I already have my flight booked. I already bought my tickets. All right. I have my Canada jersey packed already. All right. In the suitcase. I need to see them play in person. I didn't book a plane ticket to Boston to go watch Sweden versus USA. Okay. And speaking of Brady Kachuk,
Well,
you mentioned him. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I was going to say to you, but the game going to OT is great in the sense of Canada, at the very least, will pick up a point, which will give
Mhm.
them three and puts them in a position in their final game against Finland, where I believe a regulation win, 6 points, gives them a total of 6 points and is enough to get into the finals. So that would work out. That would work out well for you. And who better to score for the USA in OT, let's say the game goes to OT, then Brady Tkachuk, who's absolutely hated in Montreal as an
Yeah.
Ottawa Senator fan, right? So, it's, I'm just trying to put the pieces of the puzzle together. But go ahead.
You're painting the picture, man. You're a storyline guy. You know, you're looking towards the picture perfect story, and I think for him and his brother, they talked the talk about how important this tournament is for them, and they lived up to the hype in game one. Did they ever live up to the hype? 2 goals for Matthew, 2 goals for Brady, a handful of assists as well. Both those two guys led the team. So I'm getting even money on a guy that potentially is moving from the third line to the top line, Brady Kachuk. This is what's weird to me. The odds makers remain his number at plus 100. I'm not sure 100% if he'll stay on the top line, but why would they take him away? He played so well with his brother. He played so well with Jack Eichel. So you're going to give me plus 100 on a guy that's playing on the top line potentially to get a point. The guy had 2 goals in their first game. Brady Kachuk, 1+ point, which means 1 point at least at plus 100. So, guys, you got 4 plays from us. Great stuff. Or 4 plays each, I should say, from these 2 games on Saturday. Remember, Valentine's Day special. It's a great deal right now. Buy 3 days, get 3 days added on. Buy 30 days right now. You're going to get those 30 days of all sports for less than $8 a day. Thank you very much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time right here on Puck Time.